want to revise the Rent Act. The provision of meaningful shelter for all citizenry is a major part of the government's developmental goals. We have a Rent Act which is 56 years old. There was that is Rent Act 1963, Act 220. There was an intervention through the Rent Control Act 1986, PNC Law 138. We've not received too much help from these two pieces of legislation. In the light of the shortcomings of the existing Rent Act, we do not significantly address changes in the housing sector, the rent bill is required. The review is intended to safeguard the rights of vulnerable tenants who have been outpriced by the uncontrollable hike in the cost of renting accommodation. The bill also ensures that property dwellers are not discouraged from investing in the housing industry by rigid rent control mechanisms that suppress chargeable rent to artificial levels. So some people are arguing that it's even needless. That is true. But there's an underlying trouble that the supply side is challenged. We do not have sufficient flats in the realm for people to go and even rent up a government bungalow or a flat. Because if supply should outstrip demand, then you can't talk about rent advance. We have so many houses. How can you say somebody should pay you 3 years rent advance when he's a civil servant? Where is he going to get the money from? That is why we are saying that we should speed up the rollout of the housing units. But in the meantime, whilst we're looking at it, shouldn't we have a law which probably will reduce the rent advance to 3 months or whatever Parliament will approve, and as he rightly said, enforce it? But I'm talking about the fundamentals. If the houses are not there, you might not go and complain to the police that this landlady or landlord is taking so much from me. You might want to sleep and hold your peace and pay some exorbitant price. But if you drive the supply, I tell you, rent advance will become odious.